Yo, what's up guys? I was asked to do a settings video on my settings, so I figured I'd go over my settings and kind of go over what I'm using, why I'm using it. Maybe that'll help, you guys figure out what you want to use and what works best for you on your end, because obviously settings, first and foremost, are 100% personal preference. There is no right or wrong setting. There's some things that might help you in certain instances, just make things a little bit more easy. And frame rate adds or losses or all that kind of stuff, but in general every single setting is 100% preference. So first and foremost, I'll just go section by section, only really covering the things that need to be covered in each one. For instance, in general, we can start at stun. Again, personal preference, but this is just when you get flashbanged, what color is your screen? Is it white or is it black? I use white because I don't really mind it, but I know some people like to use black because it's kind of bright. So personal preference. Same thing with tetanitis. Ringing, muted, or wave. I use ringing. Again, I don't really mind it, some people do. Important one is diffuser pickup. I use both, but you can have it set to automatic, which is just you run over the bomb, you grab it. If you use manual, you will press a button and you'll grab it. Doing both is nice because some situations you can't run over the bomb, you need to like peek around the door and then press a button and grab it. So it's good to have both, so you have the options. Visible throw trajectory just puts that little arc on a C4 and you'll get to see where it's going, where it's landing. If you're a new player, it's great. Some people might find it kind of annoying. I kind of go back and forth with this one. I sometimes have it on, sometimes don't. It's kind of a how I'm feeling kind of thing. But if you're a new player, 100% run it because it'll show you the arc and trajectory you need to get your things going where they're going. And it'll be obviously a really helpful. Drone after phase or after prep phase, another really important thing. Manual, as you can just read this on the side obviously as well. If you have, you will remain in your tool unless all attacker drones are destroyed. I don't like that one because I don't need to be in there after the round ends. The only time I need to be in there is when it's my drone that I need to move. So that's what I'm on semi-automatic for. So it'll end unless I am on my drone. That's nice because if I'm trying to run away or get out a door or whatever the case may be, it doesn't just take me off my drone and then my drone gets shot. I can get it out and then get off. But if I'm not on my drone, it'll immediately get me into the play so I can execute whatever plan I'm going for. Match replay, I mean, you can turn it off if you want. I don't know why you would. It doesn't really matter. Maybe I don't know. I don't really know why you would turn it off, especially because if you want to go back and see if someone's cheating out or whatever. But I always keep that on. Text channels, all. And then crossplay communication is all. HUD, I'll go through it. I'm not going to go through everything. I'll just scroll quickly so that way you can kind of see what I'm running. It's pretty much completely on, apart from the ally outlines. I like to have as much information as possible, though sometimes it can feel cluttered. So again, 100% personal preference. You can also just turn off the HUD if you'd like to challenge yourself, like some things like kill plus however many points for your kill, or certain things like that, or people's names above their head, or all that other stuff. You can turn whatever you want off. I pretty much keep everything on, as you can see. All right, so with audio, volume is just pretty standard. I keep everything high just because I run things through my mixer and my Windows audio, so I just keep everything pretty much maxed out for the most part because I control everything through, again, the mixer and Windows audio. With menu music, this is just down right now so I can talk and do this. The important thing, dynamic range, 100%. This is one of those things that is not personal preference. It should be high at all times, 100% of the time. Always keep it at high. Essentially, if you don't keep it at high, you're basically just limiting yourself. What low is doing is it's compressing the volume, as you again can read on the right side. Essentially what that's doing is what compression does is it takes lower volume things and higher volume things and makes them more even, so it's not as dynamic. Essentially, you're not hearing the drasticness of, okay, there's a guy right next to me, or the footsteps are getting louder and louder, or the bullets are overpowering the footsteps. That's stuff that you're going to run into with low. But with high, you're hearing those dynamics of the range in which things are away from you. You can really discern that much easier. So always run high, just because everything just sounds much more dynamic and you can get a really good feel for what's happening around you. And you're not having to try and really hard listen because things are so sounding at similar levels like you would in low. So always run high. Display settings, I mean, these are literally 100% personal preference. I would say always run full screen, but you can do whatever you want. 1920 by 1080 is what I run. Obviously you can have a 4K monitor or whatever else. 240 fresh rate is what I have. FPS limit off, obviously. VSync I turn off. Aspect ratio is auto. You can do different things like 4:3. I know people like 4:3. 16:10. You can do 16:9, obviously 21:9 if you have like an ultra wide monitor or whatever. I just do auto. I know there's pros and cons. Some people like to run this. I just like what I like. Again, you can run this all day. You can run this. You can run this. I mean, I don't recommend it, but you can run this. Again, don't recommend it, but you can run whatever you want. There is no rules. You know, ultra wide monitors are going to run this kind of thing. So I just keep it to auto, whatever my monitor is. I want it using that resolution, which is 16:9. But I like to use that. So that's that. Field of view, 100% personal preference. I use 78. You can do 90. I don't use 90. I feel like for me, 90, I struggle to see things that are really, really far. With this, I get to see things that are a little closer, easier, or I'm sorry, things that are farther, easier, because it's not so far back. But again, you are not giving yourself as much of a wide range of view on your monitor, so you might have to be turning more rather than seeing as wide of a picture. But again, the only thing I would say is don't use 60. If you want to go, I would say 70 or higher is probably the sweet spot. I really don't think you should be below like 75, but if you really need to be down at 70 against personal preference, but don't use 60. If you want to do a 78 like I do, if you want to do 84, 81, like it doesn't matter, there's no rules. It's just whatever personal preference is going to be, so it's entirely up to you. But yeah. And then display HUD area and menu display, 100% brightness, 71, again, literally just personal preference, all that kind of stuff. Graphics, so these are again very personal preference, but I like to try and keep everything kind of in the middle. Basically, I want to try and maximize frames, but also have the game look good at the same time. So in the bottom right, I'm using 4 of my 12 gigs of VRAM. You don't want to go too high on that. You'll experience stuttering and other things like that. So be very mindful of your graphics settings in relation to that number in the bottom right. But I will scroll through my settings so you can kind of see what I'm running, if you want to use that as a reference point for what you want to run on your own setup. But something like, anti-aliasing is a prime example of it being set at TAA. I want it to be doing some smoothing, but I don't want it to be at 2x or 4x where it's using more resources, or you could run into ghosting or things like that. I want it to kind of be in the middel, but I also don't want to use FXAA because I want a little more smoothing than that. Same thing up here with the video latency. I have it as on because it is doing some stuff. I don't really think I need on plus boost, but I don't want it to be off because I am, feeling the effects of what it's doing. So I like the video latency being on. But everything else is in the middle or on the higher end, just because I am valuing, again, the game looking good with FPS values, just kind of trying to keep that balance. With controls, once again, personal preference, but just so you can get a feel for maybe if you wanted to change what you're using or adjust some things or whatever the case may be, trying to find a starting point. I use 800 DPI with 8.8 horizontal and vertical, though I do change between either 6, 7, or 8 depending on the day. Almost always I'm using one of those three, sometimes maybe something else, but almost always it's gonna be one of those three numbers. With mouse ADS sensitivity, I don't use standard. Some people do. I would recommend using advanced. It's going to take a little more effort to dial everything in, but I think with standard, having the same sense with 1x magnification versus, I don't know, Kali Sniper, it is a different feel. So I like to have a different value per scope. 1x is 65, 2.5x is 100, 3.5x is 102, 5x is 103, and then 12x is 160. That's what I personally like, but that will change per person. The other settings that I want to go through are going to be gadget deployment, drone, and drone deployment. Those are both could always be on advanced. These are not personal preference ones, always on advanced. What standard's going to do, basically just when you take your, let's say, Jaeger ADS out, it's going to place it wherever you're placing it immediately. You don't really have the choice to then hold it and then place it. So if someone rushes you, you're kind of in a bind. I like advanced, obviously, because then you place it, you can get off of the placement and then take the gunfight. Same thing with drone deployment, same concept. If you're with standard and you throw the drone, you're on immediately. Someone's close on your door, they're going to swing you. With advanced, if someone's close on your door and they swing you, you're going to be ready for it and able to take that gunfight. So I would keep both of those on advanced, just allows you to have more control over the situation. Aim through through walk are all default for me. Obviously aim on hold, I like that. If you come from Valorant, you're doing very little, if at all, moving while shooting. So if you like to use an op or whatever, I mean, you don't need to move when shooting that. In Siege, all you're doing is moving while shooting for the most part, so you would want to use that on hold versus toggle, because I feel like it's just kind of hard to play the game as well with toggle because of how you're doing things, but some people like it, so it's personal preference as always. With leaning, this one really is 50-50. I like toggle. I do a lot of Shiko peeking and I find it to be easier. You can just use A and D for quick peeking. You do not need to Shiko peek. You don't have to learn it at all if you don't want to, and which in that case you might like hold better. But I personally just like toggle. But if you have never tried hold, try it, see if you like it. But I like to use toggle. Sprint through walk, default, pretty standard. Controls, nothing has changed apart from 3. Push to talk. I have no idea what this button is, but whatever it is, that's what push to talk is. U, I believe, is default, but I changed it to this because I just find it to be easier. Every other thing, including leaning, is still on Q and E. Every other thing is default apart from my gadget button. Oh yeah, primary and secondary gadget. Those are both on my side mouse buttons versus I believe middle mouse button and G are the default, but I like it on side mouse buttons. I just feel like I have more control, so I just use it for those. With privacy, everything is off. I don't need any of this stuff on. I do run an Overwolf tracker, so the only thing that I would recommend maybe wanting to turn on is this. It will show you the names of the people who are running, you know, anonymous names and stuff like that afterwards, after the game ends. But again, you can go to r6tracker.com. I also, again, run an Overwolf, so I can see that stuff. I can see people's stats and names and stuff like that in real time. I cannot see their hidden names until after the game as well, but I can just go into my matches to find that. So I keep everything off. Accessibility, 100%. You know, personal preference again. One thing I would mention is screen shake intensity should be off. You do not need to be literally in the room when the fuse charge goes off, so you can just turn that off so your screen is not shaking all over the place. But with motion blur, I usually keep it off in most games, honestly, but with Siege, I don't really mind it. So I would say screen shake is off because you don't need your, not actually your physically your monitor, but the screen itself being all shaky and stuff like that when you are in game. But with motion blur, again, if you want it off, keep it off. If you want it on, keep it on, doesn't matter. These 3 went over before. Colors, whatever you want to run is fine. I like team at blue, enemy team at red. Color or optic color, I like neon green. It's very bright, it's not going to blend in with anything. I could recommend, you know, cyan as well. I've used that before. White and black as well are also good colors. And then I would say obviously keep the optic opacity at the highest value you can. But yeah, hopefully that kind of helps you figure out what settings to run, or some things that maybe you didn't know, or whatever the case may be, just giving you a starting point or things to kind of think about when looking at your own settings. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want me to go over.